He folded towels for 4 years. Then the coach called his name. The gym at Athena High School in Rochester always felt bigger when it was empty. After practice, when the last sneaker squeak had faded, there was still one kid moving around like the night wasn't quite finished with him. He worked his way down the bench with a pile of damp towels, folding each one into the same tight rectangle. Not fussy, just committed. It was the kind of work nobody clapped for. Jason McElwain did it anyway. He did the water bottles too, lined them up, caps facing the same direction, like the bottles might behave better if they knew what was expected. Sometimes a player would grab one, take a sip, and toss it back without looking. Jason still caught it. Coach Jim Johnson noticed these little things, not in a dramatic way, more like the way you notice the same porch light turning on every night. You stop thinking about it until it's gone. Jason wasn't on the team the way the other boys were. He was the manager. He kept stats, hauled gear, chased loose balls during warm-ups, and knew everyone's routine so well he could tell if something was off just by the way a kid tied his shoes. And Jason had autism, which meant the world often came at him loud and fast, like a radio stuck between stations. The gym helped. It had rules. It had lines. It had a clock. It told the truth. He loved basketball in a way that didn't need permission. By his senior year, people in the building knew him the way you know a familiar song. Some of the younger kids waved. The custodians joked with him. The players mostly treated him like a part of the furniture. Not cruelly, just thoughtlessly. Teenagers were good at that. And there were days Jason went home and sat on the edge of his bed, sneakers still on, and wondered if he should keep doing it. He didn't say that out loud much, but one afternoon, his mom saw him standing in the kitchen doorway, gripping the strap of his bag so hard his knuckles went pale. "I don't know," he said, then stopped, like the sentence didn't want to finish. She waited. It's fine," he added quickly. "It's just if I'm not actually playing." His mom didn't fix it with a speech. She just asked, "Do you still want to be there?" Jason stared at the floor like it might give him a better answer. "Yeah," he said, "I do." So he went back. He folded the towels, he filled the bottles. He memorized the playbook like it was a language he was proud to speak. As the season rolled towards its end, the team had one last home game, senior night. The kind with parents in the bleachers and a little more electricity in the air. The kind where people took photos even if nobody asked them to. Coach Johnson had done something quiet before that game. He had added Jason to the roster. Not as a joke, not as a publicity thing, just as recognition, a jersey, a spot on the bench, a real number stitched on real fabric. When Jason saw it, he ran his fingers over the letters like he was checking they were real. One of the players leaned over and said, "Hey, J-Mac, you gonna be okay out there if we pass it to you?" Jason looked up, serious as ever. "I've watched every play for 4 years. I know where to stand. I just need someone to throw it to me." The player gave a small grin. "We'll throw it. Promise." It wasn't a big moment, but it landed different, quiet, steady like a door left open a little wider. The game itself moved the way high school games moved, fast, messy, loud. Sneakers slapped the floor, coaches shouted. A referee's whistle cut through everything like a knife. Jason sat there near the end of the bench, upright, hands on his knees, watching every possession like it mattered to the shape of the universe. Part of him probably believed it did. As the fourth quarter wound down, Athena had a comfortable lead. Nothing guaranteed, but enough space that Coach Johnson could breathe. The safe thing would have been to keep everything the same. Let the starters finish, take the win, shake hands, go home. But Coach Johnson kept glancing down the bench. Jason wasn't bouncing his leg the way most kids would. He was still, focused, ready in the quiet way he always was, like he'd been ready for 4 years and nobody had realized readiness could look like folding towels. Coach Johnson stood. He walked down to Jason and put a hand on his shoulder. Not a heavy hand, just a steady one. "You want to go in?" he asked. Jason's eyes widened. "Like now?" Coach Johnson nodded. "Yeah, now." Jason's mouth opened, closed, opened again. Coach, I can do it." "I know," Coach Johnson said, then softer. "Go in." For a second, Jason looked like a kid trying to step from one world into another. Then he stood. The crowd noticed before the other team did. A ripple started in the bleachers and turned into a roar. Not polite cheering, something raw, something like the town had been waiting to exhale. Jason jogged onto the court with his jersey tucked down over his hips, shoulders slightly hunched like he was trying not to take up too much space. The first time the ball came to him, it came fast. He shot. It missed. Not by a little, but enough that his face tightened the way it did when the world got too bright. On the next possession, someone fed him again. This time he drove in and tried a layup. He missed that too. Jason's shoulders dipped. You could almost see the thought crossing his mind. This is why I'm the manager. He started to turn his head towards the bench, toward that familiar safety of towels and water bottles. Coach Johnson didn't call him out, didn't yank him. He just watched, hands on his hips as if to say, "You're still in." A teammate ran past Jason and said, "Keep shooting, we got you." Jason swallowed, nodded once. The next time the ball came, he didn't hesitate long enough to get scared. He shot. The sound was small but sharp, like the gym itself had snapped awake. The crowd erupted. Jason's face flashed with something almost like relief, like he'd been holding his breath for 4 years and had finally found a place to let it out. Another possession, another pass, another shot. Swish! Now it wasn't just the crowd. The players were looking for him. They were hunting for him. You could see it in the way they turned their heads, the way they pointed, the way they trusted him with the ball. Jason hit again and again. A three from the corner, a three from the wing. A quick catch and release that barely had time to be a thought. People later said it felt like a movie, but in the moment, it felt more like something honest finally showing itself. Jason wasn't performing a miracle. He was doing what he practiced in the shadows when nobody watched. With seconds left, he took one more three. It went in! And when the buzzer sounded, the bleachers emptied, like somebody had pulled a plug. Students and parents poured onto the court, arms up, faces bright, shouting his name. Jason looked overwhelmed for a half second. Then someone lifted him, and he laughed in this startled, disbelieving way, like he couldn't quite find the right place to put all that joy. Coach Johnson found him in the chaos. He didn't say much, just squeezed Jason's shoulder again, same steady hand as if to anchor him. Later, after the gym finally quieted, Jason drifted back towards the bench area. Towels were scattered, water bottles rolled under the seats, the ordinary mess of an extraordinary night. Jason picked up a towel. He folded it into a neat rectangle without thinking. Then he paused, towel in his hands, and looked out at the court like he was seeing it for the first time. He'd carried their water for 4 years. That night, they carried him. The towels were still damp from the same game. The bench was still the same bench. But the quiet routine that had carried him through every day had proven itself in a way he could finally feel. He had always belonged there, exactly as he was. Be Happy Stories. Everyday kindness, real warmth. Thanks for listening.